This is WB17 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Dave Marshall. Folks in Fieldsboro, New Jersey who were seeing red over the banning of yellow ribbons on public property took to the streets to protest. Hey Mike, good evening. This is what all the hoopla is about. These portable basketball nets which literally sit right here in the middle of the street. There we go. Take a walk with me this way. You can see the curb is here and the base of these things sitting right here where a car would be. Now the township says this is particularly dangerous for kids because they're out here playing and a car could come by and literally hit them while they're playing. But kids are telling the township tonight, let us play. Now, this is exactly what you'll be doing a lot of tomorrow morning when you get up if the snow continues to come down as it is coming down now. And here's the stuff you really want to know. So far for right now, the city is saying Friday trash collection will go on as normal. And as of right now, we are not hearing any restrictions on parking in the city. We're live in Hunting Park. Tomorrow, Vallis will name his education team. He will also meet with the governor to hammer out a financial plan for the district. That plan will be announced to the public on Friday. This is the plan Vallis says will put Philadelphia schools in the black. The students were taken off that plane, they were searched, and their bags were searched. But not too long ago, they arrived here at Philadelphia International, much to the relief of some very worried parents. And police say what worked this weekend wasn't what people saw, but what they didn't see. A whole network of law enforcement officials working to keep the area safe. Now, their complaints have reached the county's Office of Health as well as Aging. And when we went in, we knew it was hot, but we just didn't know how hot it was until we pulled out our nifty digital thermometer. The scene is really incredible. Now, the problem is an abandoned building in the back of this house that you see here. Now, this is traditionally the part of the story where the reporter gets involved in the action. Now that means I have to get out of all these clothes and then go jump right into the ocean. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Psych. And I can't wait to deliver the news. There's a falcon's nest way up here on top of City Hall. Did you hear that, you dumb bird? You are no match for an eagle. Oh! Good evening, Jim. We're here in South Philadelphia, a neighborhood traditionally where many of the streets aren't even touched by snowplows. It's nothing malicious. It's just the nature of the neighborhood. It's older streets and houses compacted together, but it depends on where you live. For example, take a look down here. We're on 18th Street near Catherine. You can see way down the street, snowplows have been through here all day, and we can show you the blacktop here. You can see right through it. But now let's take a walk down here to Webster Street. You can see the residents are saying that not a single snowplow has actually come through here at all, and this is the reason why. Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Barely 7 feet across. No way in the world a snowplow is getting down that street. On the big streets in South Philadelphia, Michael Canty wheels snow truck number 5469 around like he's on the Indianapolis Speedway. But just a few minutes later, he admits clearing snow from tiny St. Alberns is no joke.
This is our only problem, where maybe with the equipment that we have is excellent, but maybe we get a little small equipment that can help us out a little better.
The city says it has done better. There are about 400 plows out fighting the storm and its aftermath, many of them new and small enough to get down streets at least 14 feet wide. Used to be only half of the city's 2,500 miles of streets could expect to see a plow. Now all but 20 miles will get done.
That's very reassuring.
So says 12-year-old Jasmine Gibson of South Chadwick Street. Today, her block got plowed for the first time anybody can remember.
Somebody else down the street has asthma also, but he has a little far worse off than I do. And there's also somebody pregnant on the street, and I have allergies. So there were a lot of concerns why the snow ought to be picked up.
But around the corner on Titan, they're big on shovels, short on patience.
Mad, aggravated, fed up.
That's because this street is barely 10 feet across. Folks here have to dig themselves out.
It would be nice if they could plow them, because when you get stuck, you can't go anywhere. You're just jammed in. It's a pain in the butt.
And what are you saying to those people on those 20 or so blocks that you just can't get to because they're smaller than 14 feet?
Well, we can't get to them yet. What I'm asking them to do is be just a little bit patient.
Now, actually, in all fairness, we saw many people in these neighborhoods giving the thumbs up to crews coming by because it was really the first time in years they'd actually witnessed a snowplow coming through their neighborhood, and the mayor says that maybe by this time next year they would have purchased enough equipment to sort of get every single neighborhood when a major snowstorm hits. Now, if you are still having problems on your street, you can call the city's snow emergency hotline. That number is 215-686-SNOW or 215-686-7669. We are live in South Philadelphia. Dave Marshall, Philadelphia's WB17.
Mike, that's a very interesting question. Good evening, first of all. Police say it may be way too early to try to make those kind of links, but they can say at this point it seems that these cases are not related. Now take a walk with me and you can see the sign in question where the pipe bomb was. You can see right here where my pen is these burn marks, and way down here on the ground you can see the sand from the detonation. Federal agents pack away the remnants of what witnesses say was a pipe bomb they exploded just minutes before at the Resurrection Lutheran Church. Burn marks on the sign show where someone perhaps tried to light the device discovered earlier today by none other than the church pastor.
I went over, it was a piece of duct tape, about that long, and down on the ground there was a piece of pipe about that long capped at both ends, and I like a dummy, I pushed it with my foot, Thank God that it didn't go off.
ATF agents swarmed the place looking for answers. Ironically, the church just replaced the sign last week because back in September, someone blew up their old sign that used to sit right here.
I don't understand. I really don't. I guess the world's going crazy, really. I don't know what it is. I don't understand why they would do it.
The whole thing is a shock to church members who were preparing for a meeting tonight, not knowing that they were steps away from something dangerous.
Anyone could have been hurt, that if anyone had been walking along the street at the time. We're just lucky that it was found when it was. And sure, we're going to need to be more cautious.
Cautious because police say someone dangerous is running around trying to ignite explosives that police say could be potentially deadly. Now, police are hoping that someone saw something because this road right behind me, this is Oxford Valley Road. It's extremely busy, and they're hoping that someone indeed saw something. Now, indeed, if you did see anything this afternoon, Middletown Township Police would love to hear from you. Let me give you their number. That number is 215-949-3344. We're live in Levittown. Dave Marshall, Philadelphia's WB17. Karen and Jim, good evening. It's rather loud, so I have to speak really loudly here. We're at Club XL in Trenton, and they're expecting about 1,000 people here tonight to meet and greet with O.J. Simpson. In fact, we're told he's expected to come in any minute. We'll be hanging out right behind me where those white curtains are. Now, we caught up with him earlier in the day, and he spoke with us really quite frankly and candidly about his life after the murder trial, his ex-wife Nicole, and the storm of controversy brewing here in Trenton over his visit. O.J. Simpson makes the rounds at Club XL in Trenton, surrounded by a host of supporters. Perhaps his biggest fan is 74-year-old Christine Brown.
Public personality, and he greeted me as though I was his mother.
His visit is part of a documentary being made about his life in the years after his murder trial that made international news. Simpson says it's a chance to let people see the real him.
I think it'd be interesting to people in areas that I could never get around to really see what my life is like and how people react to me on the streets of America and not in the media of America.
And his presence has started a media event with people all around watching and weighing in on O.J.
I think that there's some real things to what happened. I think he probably was more involved than he wants everybody to believe.
Here at the Quaker Bridge Mall, they've already put out the word, O.J., stay away.
You've got a controversial figure. You've got for him, you've got against him. We're in an enclosed area. God forbid that there be an incident and someone got hurt.
Excuse for the abuse.
And groups fighting domestic violence aren't thrilled either. Cecilia Wilkins' daughter, Natalie, was allegedly killed by her boyfriend. She says she's offended by Simpson's visit.
I hope that one day that he recognizes that he is an abuser, admitted to himself.
But O.J. says his conscience is clear and he is not moved by his naysayers. Can I give you an example of people we're in the neighborhood? I'm not making this up. Low life, scum, murderer, woman beater. How did that's gotta hurt.
You know what? It hurt 6-7 years ago. I'm calcified to it now. I can care less what people think. It's the people around me and the people that know me, they know who I am and what I'm about.
Now, cameras have been following Simpson for about 8 months or so, and he's planning to make a number of visits to U.S. cities, including Philadelphia, in the near future. We're live in Trenton. Dave Marshall, Philadelphia's WB17.
Tuesday will not be much of a treat for nearly 4,000 children across the country. That's the number of victims the government says will fall prey to an annual Halloween injury. And if you think it's tainted candy, think again. Our Dave Marshall has some important information to help keep your kids safe.
Let's take it nice and easy.
It's hard to take things easy on Main Street in Manayunk when a virtual gold mine is right at your fingertips.
Trick or treat.
And little Nicholas McEwen is on a mission to get while the getting is good. What's that?
Milky Way.
Everywhere you look, there's a mad scramble for goodies. It's part of an effort to make Halloween safe for kids by letting them go door to door to stores today instead of at unfamiliar houses on Tuesday where danger could be lurking.
Oh, it's great. The kids, they love it. They love Halloween. I love Halloween. It's fun.
Who are you?
I'm being a witch. A cowboy. I'm Miss America. Miss 2000. Hi. Happy Halloween. Thank you.
You can bet most here on the trick-or-treat trail know the #1 safety rule for Halloween.
I don't give him anything that's not wrapped. I don't care where it came from, if it's wrapped candy, if it's like spice wafers in a little Dixie bag, no, they're out.
But experts say problems with tainted candy are really rare. In fact, the government says children are 4 times more likely to get hurt or killed simply by doing what I'm trying to do right now. Trying to get across a very busy street.
That's why experts say parents should put reflective tape on all costumes and accessories. Make sure each child carries a working flashlight and use face paint instead of a mask. That helps the child to see from all angles. And there's more.
They should make sure that an adult goes along, even if the child is old enough to take care of themselves. You never know what's going to happen. There are so many other risks when kids are out in groups at night, all by themselves.
Nice and easy does it.
In other words, just use caution.
Hello, Merry Halloween.
In Manayunk, Dave Marshall, Philadelphia's WB17.
News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Dave Marshall. Folks in Fieldsboro, New Jersey who were seeing red over the banning of yellow ribbons on public property took to the streets to protest. A big round of applause for U.S. war veterans who came out to support the marchers today. Guardian Angels led the march down the main street to the town hall, where ralliers put up even more yellow ribbons, despite Mayor Edward Tyler's ban on ribbons on government property.
It kind of puts a black cloud over all this lovely patriotism here.
This is what our troops are fighting for. This is what they're dying for, to give us the freedom to speak and to show the way we feel.
Now, ralliers, some clutching photos of family members serving in the war, say they won't stop displaying the ribbons despite the mayor's ban. Health officials in China say the key to controlling the fast-spreading SARS virus could lie in identifying highly infectious people or super spreaders. Experts say figuring out why they are so infectious may help doctors control the spread of the syndrome. So far, it's killed at least 89 people worldwide and sickened hundreds more. Meanwhile, the illness is causing economic trouble for Asia, where tourism is taking the biggest hit.
We've already cut back our New York-Hong Kong service. There's a tremendous no-show factor. People are afraid to fly, and so as high as 30%. So we may temporarily suspend service.
Meanwhile, the University of Illinois has called back 4 students studying in Hong Kong. Police have arrested a man in the shooting death of a woman found in a Camden cemetery last weekend. 41-year-old Michael Carter was arrested last night in connection with the fatal shooting of 45-year-old Frances Lillian Keaton. Her body was found at the Camden Cemetery in the 900 block of Haddon Avenue last Saturday. Somebody walking through that cemetery noticed her body. Police say Carter allegedly shot the woman at the cemetery following an accident. 4 people were killed and more than 24 injured in a pair of accidents today on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It happened just east of the Exit 12 interchange at Breezewood. That's in Bedford County. Investigators say a car spun out on the fog-shrouded toll road just before 11 and was hit by a tractor-trailer and then a pileup of 16 other cars and trucks. Many were gutted by fire moments later. And then a second pileup started in the westbound lanes, injuring even more people. The county sheriff called it the worst pileup he's ever seen. Both east and westbound lanes were closed for 60 miles. and more than $8. 2 cars were involved in a bizarre crash in Berks County after one driver has a seizure behind the wheel. It happened when the driver of this Dodge Durango hit a Camaro that was sitting at an intersection, pushing it into the house at the top of a hill. The Durango continued to roll up the hill, rolled over, and then hit the same house. The drivers of both cars were taken to Lehigh Valley Trauma Center. The owner of the home is not allowed back inside until the structure is declared safe. We'll have more in a moment.